Ours,
not
yours.
Good build from him, good awareness in that. But again, the lanes are just not winning as much as Tigers are.
Top lane now. They're not getting jumped on, but in your dreams here, and the stomp misses, but Ohio is in trouble. He will use that soul rip, but the arrow will end up connecting. And Ohio loses his life for the second time this game. Nice rotation from In Your Dream. Make sure he dies. And I mean, that Beastmaster, you know, he does require some farm, and he definitely requires those levels. It seems like Tigers understand this. Make sure he can't get them that easily.
Yeah, although it does look like Ohio's gotten a fair bit from this lane. He is lagging really far behind Moon Meander right now, though. Level 7 now in Moon, level 5 in Ohio. Porter way until level 6. And until then, you know, LOTAC will just lack lockdown.
Top lane, Yamate again. Star 4 is there. He ran back for a moment. Now he turns around to Soul Rip. Swan is rotating up, so they wanted to get that Mirana kill, but they don't get it. Now the arrow does not connect, but Zephyr should end up dying. Back Will to Chuan. They certainly wanted that Mirana, though. Chuan rotates over. They lose the Undying. They find the return kill. But it still looks a bit better off for Tigers.
Yeah, it definitely is. And AU is, man, he just melts so fast to Ajit, who is a full 4 levels ahead of the Phoenix. This is not where you want to be as a support Phoenix. You do want XP. Even 14-7 is higher off as the Lich.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
He's in massive trouble. Ajit, one more right click. He couldn't quite find it. Goes for the random stomp, but he does not get it. So close yet so far, but I mean, look, he still has a free lane to himself. Like you said, he's already out-leveled the Phoenix by 4 levels at this point. He's out-leveling Spec as well by 2 levels, almost 3 now. LOTAC, I don't know how you really come back from this laning stage, John. Like, how do you even get those levels on farm back your way?
I think you definitely have to give your Phoenix some XP. When the books come up, he takes priority. Ohio hitting level 6 should be helpful. You really should maximize that Primal Roar. Find the kill immediately, put it on cooldown so you can use it more often.
Alright, moving forward. Problem is Zephyr's there, and it's just so hard to initiate when that stomp's available. And they're really playing around and baiting that shout out. One rotate around as well, but they aren't going for anything. They are just trying to get the bounty runes for the moment. Chuan moving up as well to take another one, but here comes the rest of the cavalry. They will roll up. Now the Thunder Trap as well, but In Your Dream will take down Ohio immediately. Now In Your Dream, and that is not a good time.
That is
yeah,
unfortunate time to pause. But, you know, that's a good smoke rotation coming out from Tigers. Just walking straight up like that. And they do lose the Lich. They managed to take down Ohio, the bigger target. I'm not so sure if In Your Dream can survive this one. Looks like a no, I have to say, but he does run fairly fast if he can at least cast one more spell without dying.
Yeah.
But right now, looks like he is slowed considerably. Zeus does have enough burst, I think. So probably gonna die unless he can deny himself to Roshan here.
I mean, those zombies slowing him down by the time. Ohio is back. The apologies come out. See if he can get out of here. Start up. He's actually going to turn around and find another kill. Now Chuan as well falling low. He will end up dropping, but now Zephyr came back in for some reason. He wants to go for it, but Chuan's on a triple now. Moon Meander fighting with Yamate, but Yamate is willing to go for this. Moon Meander, he's got to be careful, but Chuan is completely out of mana. He doesn't have the arcane boots ready to go, and he'll have to back off, but still, they gave a triple kill away to the Zeus, so Chuan very happy about that. It was a 3-for-3 trade, and ultimately it does go the way of LOTAC.
Yeah, it does. It's just a bit unfortunate they had to lose you know, Beastmaster there, and even losing the Phoenix was big because he did not, you know, AU was not around for the EXP, which you really want right now in your Phoenix. Level 4 at 11 minutes is where you really not where you want to be. You want to be at least level 5 on your way to your level 6 because you need that egg for that early pressure.
High goes down again, top lane. I mean, it's the stomp into the arrow. He used the split earth as well, the earth splitter, I should say. So Ohio, he's having a real rough time. 1 to 4. Like, he's got that level 7 mark, you know, he can just throw out the roars and try to catch up. But it certainly isn't his usual, you know, have a great lane, get a quick blink dagger, and then make everyone's life a living hell. So I do wonder how LOTAC comes back when, you know, their offlaner and their main initiator, for that matter, is falling rather than behind.
Yeah, I mean, looking at net worth right now, it's definitely not the way of LOTAC. In fact, it's pretty bad. The Zeus is keeping track with Alina, but the Beastmaster and the Spectre are trailing behind by at least 1.2k. Significant, really significant.
Speaking of the Lena, John, in your dream, finds a solo pick-off onto Phoenix AU, so very easy one. He had an Invis rune up in the bottle and he just literally walked up, stunned him, and waited. Yeah, no thought process. Easy kill. Moon Meander going up to Yamate. He's falling very low. Does have help though. Ohio will roar him up now. Raven haunts in. A nice pick-off. That was actually a killing spree going to the way of Raven. You've got to be careful with your Moon Meander in those positions because Raven, he needs that farm right now. The last person you want to be giving that gold to.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm not sure if Raven still rushes the Radiance here. Honestly, I'm really not sure how you look fair late game against two carries that kind of scale nicely. If they had an even amount of carries, I'd say, you know, of course, LOTAC would have the advantage with a Spectre +1, but with just the Spectre against 2, I'm not sure what to say.
We'll have to wait and see. Ohio actually doing a lot of damage to Moon Meander. He might just kill him off. Walk away. I thought when that net came on to Moon, I thought there was going to be some backup, and now there is. They're going to go for Zephyr first, but there's no Raw available. Oh, no. Full connect on the Phoenix, who could not egg in time. That is an unfortunate Icarus dive right into that Stomp. They do get Zephyr, however, so I think Zephyr is still probably worth more than the Phoenix is right now.
Yeah, he definitely is. That's a nice little gold injection in the way of LOTAC. But again, it looked like LOTAC wanted to force something. They do have the Yug up. They've had it for maybe about a minute now. Really want to use it up and put it on cooldown so they can use it more often again. But unfortunate. Just Icarus diving into that Stomp, just, you know, that really broke the combo.
Yeah. Oh shit. 40s. Look that blink dagger up. One.
Under attack.
Safely in that team tower range.
Allies.
You can see the side of Tigers willing to get aggressive straight away, and they Moonlight Shadow up. Mind you, it is close to that 15-minute mark, so the bounty runes will be coming up very soon. They get started. Yamate, he could be the target here. In fact, oh, this shot was a bit early from Arjit, but he gets the roar off, and now the Chain Lightning, or the Chain Frost, will get the job done. Ajit trying to back on. Quan in a lot of trouble. Where's the egg? It finally comes out. Where the hell is it? It's right there. Ajit just rips it apart. Quan finds the return kill. In fact, he finds a double, but Tigers walking all over them. Raven did not actually have a horn either. So he just had to stand there and keep farming. Moon Meander rotates over, grabs the bot bounty runes for the team. This net worth lead that they have, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. I mean, Tigers are 8k in the lead now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, at 15 minutes in, that's fairly big. Probably one of the wider gaps we've seen at this point in the game, Mike. And you know, you're playing with a Spectre. Yeah, you kind of expect that early game to be worse. I wouldn't say you expect it to be this much worse. Again, you kind of need your Phoenix and your Undying, your Beastmaster to set a place around the map and just keep using Haunt to come in and join. But they've always been getting jumped on by Tigers, and when they try to make the jump, it just doesn't work out. So maybe try to fix that initiation, try to get a cleaner initiation onto a key target, because you really need it right now.
Yeah. Doesn't look like Tigers are really going to stop this aggression. Yeah, but top of the net worth board, rotating around through that mid lane, and they want that mid-tier tower. Dream finds himself in Invis room again, so without that Shadow Blade for the second time, he's going to be able to go for a gank attempt. This time it'll be Raven. Mind you, Raven seems to be aware thanks to that Observer Ward down at the river, the bot lane, and back up to safety. Now top lane though, they will make a jump onto the Ursa, and Arjit enrages up. Nice stop comes out from Zephyr, but is it going to be enough? The answer is no. Raven is in trouble with the Soul Rip, saved his life for the moment. Now the Egg comes out as well, but they're out of range for it anyway. But the side of Tigers do look to be in trouble. Zephyr should drop. Can they get the decay off? Actually, Arc Lightning will get the job done anyway.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Having a fantastic game. That was a great fight for the side of LOTAC, and I only can imagine, in fact, I don't have to, it's 1.2k going to the way of LOTAC, but almost more importantly, 3.5k XP going to the side of LOTAC after that team fight.
Yeah, now we see AU's level 9, kind of keeping pace in terms of XP, which is really where you want your Phoenix to be. Maybe once he's level 12, that level 2 egg will cause problems. I think that's a nice little power spike for Phoenix. But the issue in that last team fight was, again, they expended every single one of their ultimates, Mike. And this is the issue that LOTAC has when they're trying to force these team fights. They depend on the Haunt so much, they depend on the egg, they depend on Roar, that you have to blow everything, and they blew most of it in one target, Mike.
Mind right now, like, it's not blow all of it. They kind of have to.
Yeah, they definitely do. Taking out the Ursa was pretty darn good. Now there's a smoke move from Tigers.
Yeah, they want Chuan. He's starting to become a bit of a problem. Thunder God's Wrath will actually scout it out. Some very nice games since Chuan. So Tigers wasting a smoke and a bit of time. And again, the more time that they waste, the better it is for LOTAC, because they need this in the spec.
Yeah, they really do. I do like the build coming out from Raven. Going for that man style first, so not going for a crazy rad rush, so he's gonna have some stats and durability at least for the mid game.
Doesn't really seem like he has a choice anyway. He's gonna kind of get that Yasha with the fast farm, right? Like, the Radiant's is just way too greedy. Yeah.
You do still see a few carries go that greedy, and I'm just glad to see Raven's not one of those carries. We have seen a couple of times where the Spectre just, you know, refuses to switch out of that Radiance.
Won't name any names, John, but yeah, I agree. We have seen that many times. Moonlight Shadow has been committed. Looks like they'll run their way up to the top lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
See AU there. Does have the Icarus dive and a TP scroll, and he will be out of there. Looks like he will be successful in doing so. So again, more time being wasted in your dream though. Oh, he misses the stun on Yamate now. Tombstone does go up. They will get the kill onto Yamate, and there will be no help coming in apart from Chuan. That Tombstone will be fed the way of the Lena, but here comes Raven. The Horn, the egg is there as well, and in your dream just gets melted. Zephyr in trouble as well. He drops immediately afterwards, and Raven with a double. So they get Yamate, but losing your core in your dream and your position for Elder Titan, certainly not great news.
Yeah, definitely not. And I feel like LOTAC is playing around these cooldowns fairly well now. You know, they find an opportunity, they pop it immediately. They commit as much as they can, because they really need every single last bit they can get.
Arjit is here. He wants Ohio as the return, and he will get him. Bounty runes will go to the way of LOTAC though. That blue meander. Top lane again going after Yamate, but I mean, this is almost feels like a bait at this point. Like, Yamate seemingly looking around, you know, all the time with such low HP from these engagements. He baits them in. They think they can kill him off solo, and next thing you know, they're losing cores just for these solo pickoffs.
Yeah. It's just a bit odd, because you kind of expect the Mirana to be able to run away. But I guess when you commit your leap charges to go in, you will be in a spot of trouble. You have to watch out. You don't want to bleed this much gold away to a Spectre. You had a good start, but you know, Raven's starting to bounce back, has that Mantis style back up. AU is getting the XP up, level 12 now, so that's a level 2 egg, which could cause some problems for Tigers. And you know, the Zeus is working his way to his eggs in a fairly good manner. You really don't want to bleed too much gold.
We know once Chuan's got that Ags up, it's going to be even more issue. In your dream again, he's trying to go for Yamate. Can he pick him off? It looks like he will this time around. But it's one of those things that, like, they did have vision in that jungle. Ohio, he was a bit too far away, but they are playing very risky, the side of Tigers. I mean, I don't mind. It's very entertaining for me, John. I'm just surprised to see how risky they're playing for this Undying kill.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty risky for pretty low reward. I mean, Yamate was just worth, what, 200 gold? Probably not as profitable as clearing out a creep wave now.
I mean, he's lowest net worth at this point. Like, he doesn't care anymore about dying. He's just like, let me hit level 15, let me die. Ohio. They get caught out. The Yules is there from your dream. Stun up as well, and yeah, he's dead. Your dream with another fantastic kill for himself, and that net worth climbs substantially for him on that Lena. And Ajit says, let's get started on the Roshan. That Ohio there, I mean, their main initiator is not present. It's probably one of the best chances they have, but they'll go for Raven instead, it seems. Your dream finding the Phoenix. AU not having the time to egg up, so again, in your dream, this is why he loves that Lena. I mean, he just plays a fantastic Lena, one of the best.
Yeah, definitely. So really aggressive in that Lena, just going so far forward, taking these risks to potentially, you know, buy your team so much more. And it's been paying off so far. I mean, granted, that one kill on Yamate was less than ideal, but finding the Phoenix like that, that just means LOTAC is not going to force you to fight for the next half minute, which means you can disengage fine, reset, then force it back in again.
Is it a concern, however, that they haven't taken Roshan yet? By the Tigers. Like, we're 23 minutes in, and there is somewhat of a hesitation towards going towards that Roshan.
I think it's right for Tigers to hesitate for that one, because Ohio has been constantly keeping a bird up there, just watching that pit.
Is smoke jump. Run through that jungle. Like Raven would run the other way. He does have the horn available. They do find the outside. They say, screw it, let's take out this man right here. And Zephyr is gone. Mind you, they might find 1437 as well. He is burning out, and he will end up dropping. That Chain Frost still jumping around, but it doesn't end up getting anyone, and that's 2 support kills. LOTAC, but here comes in your dream. He just destroys AU. Ohio trying to move forward now. He will not get the T1. In your dream denies it. Oh my. He woke up on the right side of the bed this morning, John. Your dream, he's
definitely so. Definitely so. Now LOTAC is going to try to secure that bird for themselves. They do have the vision advantage. They have none of their spells up.
John, Ajit, he wants to jump. That's his friend. Raven takes him. Going to be feeling very lonely on that Ursa now. It's going to just prolong the game a lot more for LOTAC, which again is exactly what they need. Raven, Arrow will not end up connecting. Leander though will steal that bounty rune. Yamate will get the bot ones.
Radiant are scanning.
Good trade for the bounties. Getting very heated with this game.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're starting to see Raven catch up again, that net worth. All of Tiger's cores are leading by about 1k, but, you know, that's a smaller gap than it was a while ago. So, both Raven and Chuan have managed to catch up a fair bit and keep pace. I think the biggest issue right now is how poor Ohio is. Only 6.8k net worth, but as a Beastmaster, I suppose, you know, everything else is a bonus after your blink. So they just really need Ohio to start a fight, get someone locked down, and then they can force a 4v5 fairly nicely with a Phoenix Egg.
There might be another smoke rotation coming out from LOTAC. No, they're not holding the smoke. They're just grouped up. Seems like they feel there may be a Moonlight Shadow or a smoke. Meander, though, will show him surf bot lane, so they know where he is. No, there's no Moonlight Shadow coming out. Dream, meanwhile, finds himself an Arcane Rune. So look after him to probably make a gank sooner rather than later with that Arcane. There will be a smoke coming out eventually from LOTAC. Now, who do they find? 3-7, probably their closest target, although Arjit is farming the neutral jungle right now. And it looks like he's going to be the target. Ohio. Oh my, a fast blink reaction from Arjit. Very quick indeed. The Thunder God's Wrath not coming out fast enough. That's going to be unfortunate.
Yeah, maybe expend the Thunder God's Wrath right before entering the jungle just to check anyway. I mean, that's a bit of a shame. They might have been able to secure that if they scouted just a bit earlier with that Thunder God's Wrath to cancel the blink, but you know, mistakes happen, and now it's Tiger's turn to smoke up.
Yeah, they're going to find Ohio. He's just standing there farming neutrals. Does manage to blink out. LOTAC do seem to want to fight this. I mean, they've got all the ultimates available. Apart from the Thunder God's Wrath. He's in massive trouble. Raven already in a double. He will not aim a trip regardless. From this team fight coming up from LOTAC now, it is a hell of a lot of damage, and you know it goes back to that thing we made in that drafting phase. For the egg, would you aim for the tombstone? In this case, they aim for neither.
Yeah.
That was a lot of damage, and now Moon Meander, he gets the fused up. Raven, next to no lead charges left as well. Moon Meander will end up dropping.
Yeah, that's just really strange. That team fight was odd. You had In Your Dream targeting Phoenix Egg, and you had Moon Meander just stunned up, I suppose. He did cop that roar, if I recall right. But you know, I'm not sure where their Ursa was. Ajit, I'm not sure where he was. They definitely needed more people to pound on the egg. If they manage to take out that Phoenix Egg, I think that fight goes their way, but it seemed a bit disjointed there for Tigers. They just couldn't make their mind up as to what to hit. I mean, I feel like In Your Dream had the right idea. Hit the Phoenix Egg. Isn't enough. They needed a bit more to whack that egg. Again, that level 2 egg is a huge power spike for Phoenix, and he's 2 levels off from level 18. Once you have that level 3 egg, it's even worse.
Oh yeah. To make matters worse as well, Yamate just hit level 15 as well. So now you've got the double tombstone on death. Well, the one tombstone, then the secondary tombstone on death. So Yamate going to be looking to dive in and die during the team fights for the greater good of his team. And if you can't deal with one of them, you're going to have a lot of troubles dealing with two. So the Tigers going to have to really think about how they approach the next team fight. They can't really afford to lose team fights like that any longer. It has gotten to the point where the net worth lead has only gotten 3k mark for Tigers when it was 9k ahead about 15 minutes ago.
Vanish.
Does seem LOTAC are very confident. In fact, they'll move forward into the Moonlight Shadow. In Your Dream, going to scout them out. The Aegis does end up expiring throughout all this, and they think better of it. They'll back off.
Yeah, and I don't know. At draft, I thought LOTAC would struggle a bit in these as it goes late, but now I'm starting to see the itemization from Tigers is odd, especially for Moon. Moon has a Linken's and a Maelstrom, which I do kind of understand why you want them. You do kind of want he wanted to block out the roar, which is fair, but they have ways of kind of purging it off now. Like, they do have other single target spells that pop at Linken's, and now he's been stuck in his Maelstrom for a fair bit. No progression at all. He certainly lacks damage now, and his positioning has been really aggressive, a bit too aggressive, I think.
Yeah, well, there's gonna be a game. But again, when it gets started, you can't. I mean, this draft, it's coming together for LOTAC. I don't know how they've come back into this game.
Yeah, it's definitely coming together now after a really rocky start, where I thought, you know, Tigers had their game plan set and needed to keep that momentum.
Ohio.
Just didn't hold on.
Quick reactions from the Beastmaster mid lane. Now Ajit might be in trouble. It looks like the side of LOTAC want to bait them in here. The Nimbus was there. Ajit takes it out. Now Phoenix, Icarus dive. Everyone has some insane reactions this morning with the blinks.
He's queued up that Abyssal Blade for a while now.
Haste.
You have a Mirana who's also stuck in a Maelstrom. In Your Dream does have, you know, the Shadow Blade, the Ewells, and a Linken's as well, but it's starting to feel a bit lacking.
Oh, it is. It certainly is. It's kind of the question now is how do you get back into this game if you're Tigers? I mean, they're still in it. There's no doubting that. It's just, I don't know, LOTAC with their coordination in that draft, they really are taking over these fights. Like, it's hard to imagine them losing a fight right now.
Yeah, they've been playing around their cooldowns quite well. I think that, you know, their early game perseverance really showed off, because it was a bad laning phase. It was just straight up a bad laning phase. Every single lane sort of lost, and they just played around their cooldowns once they all hit level 6, and they've been really active. Like, again, it's that Zeus Spectre combination that you tend to see in Southeast Asian pubs, but it's working out.
Make matters worse, John. The Spec holding a heart, he's gonna have a butterfly next. So he doesn't even need that Radiance for the missed chance. He's just gonna go through it. I'll go for the butterfly. Wasn't already hard enough to kill. Got a hell of a lot worse. Oh, Najid might get caught out here. They're pinging him out. They're smoked up as well. He doesn't help, but he comes over. Zephyr, but that's it. Ajit, he just can't take that much damage. They can just jump in immediately as 5 and just rip him apart. Go to the Roche Pit now, but it's 20 seconds away. And again, we'll see that Hawk sitting in that Roche Pit and just waiting. Arrow will come out. Will completely miss though. Tigers do seem like they don't want to let this go. Again, Ohio with the very fast blink. Roche, be up just a second. See how fast LOTAC rotates around to try and take it. Mind you, perhaps they just want to wait for those ultimates to come back up. Definitely want the Tombstone and Egg, that's for sure. Like, you do not want to go into this Roche Pit without those tools.
Yeah, definitely so. You need those two tools available in such a tight space. It's going to really dictate fight. So you kind of want them up, but it looks like Tigers isn't even in position to contest anyway.
In the end, John, he's started to not finish off Yoni, but rather he's going to go for the BKB, it seems. And I have to say, this is a smart decision.
It does mitigate a lot of the damage coming out from the Zeus and Phoenix as well, to a certain extent. But again, you have every single core on Tiger's side just building defensively. Every single one except maybe Ajit. He's the one with the most offensive kit. Although he's always being targeted first, being jumped on in the jungle, being being the one being called out. And I haven't seen Ajit really do too much in teamfights because he's always the main target. If not him, then In Your Dream or the Elder Titan as well, Zephyr. They tend to target these heroes first. And I think that's really smart prioritization from LOTAC, because these heroes are the ones that can cause trouble in those 5v5s. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Tigers being this defensive is rather odd. When the cooldowns are, when LOTAC expends all their big ultimates, I think that's the time Tigers goes back in. Like, even if they lose a couple of heroes, you can definitely jump back in when their cooldowns are expended. I feel like they have that potential. However, their itemization does make it a bit iffy. Again, it's mainly defensive coming out from Tigers.
I feel like they're gonna go somewhat offensive now. We see in your dream, he is trying to get that silver edge up. He's gonna help a hell of a lot against that spec, but
Shadows, take us.
in your dream, he somehow manages to stay at the top of the net worth board, even though things are going terribly now for his team. See if that silver edge really changes anything throughout these team fights, because I feel like the spec isn't really the problem here. I just feel like there's just way too much stuff to deal with, and they don't have the heroes to deal with them.
I think spec wasn't the problem, but since, you know, Raven really caught up in farm, has that heart up, I think spec is a problem now. So going for that silver edge is not a bad idea to deal with this new problem spec, but you still have the old problems of the Phoenix Egg catching you out, the Roar catching you out. Even if, you know, there are 2 Lincolns on this team already, like, they still get caught out.
Now Raven will literally take a tier 2 by himself.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
That's all the outer towers gone for the side of Tigers. It's that point where LOTAC, they don't want to give any kind of map control back to the side of Tigers, and they've already started. They clear the jungle. Start clearing the jungle of Tiger. I mean, what do they really do here? Do they smoke up? Do they wait for the high ground defense? Like, what's the plan for the side of Tigers?
It's hard to say. I feel like they've missed their window where they were definitely much stronger than LOTAC's lineup. Again, you know, early on, LOTAC's lineup could not do anything against the Mirana, against the Lina, because they simply had no way of holding someone down and really just dishing out damage. But at this
Raven's
point in the game,
for tier 3.
yeah, for free. They do finally pop the port fly, but Raven's not scared at all.
Well, here's the Doomstone, and now, 1437, he's just gone. They committed Nimbus, and that was it. And now Moon Meander, he gets roared up. The Horde comes in. They want this Mirana straight off the bat. Nice stop comes in, but that'll only slow things down. They're going after Raven the Sunray, trying to heal him up. AU, he still has the...
Dire's bottom barracks are under attack.
.437, and they will get a tier 3 tower, and that's it. It does look like it's somewhat of a successful defense from Tigers. LOTAC just not feeling like they're confident enough to keep going after them.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. They did expend their cooldowns again, so they and you just wait for it again. Once those are back up, you know, Haunt will be back up as well. Your Zeus ult will be back up as well, and you can siege again. And just rinse and repeat. Again, it's at this point where Tigers needs to go out and be offensive. Which they are trying.
Slight mistake coming out, John. Ajit wasn't actually caught in the smoke. Tigers, I think that was a mistake because, you know, Tigers did think that Ajit himself pinked it out. Although they do have the Moonlight Shadow anyway, but... Yeah, Ursa in this next pickoff that they're going for. Mind you, you look at LOTAC, it's not like they're really close together right now, so they may end up just losing hero very early on. Fortunately, we do see a bit more lag coming out from LOTAC. Straight pause from Yamate. He just got him.
Alright, I want to talk about Ajit right now. Like, he finally gets that Abyssal Blade. Has it made any impact in the game? Like, I'm not sure if he had it last time. Maybe he just picked it up. But if he just picked it up, it's a big risk. He has no buyback. Like, if he gets caught out again, it's gonna be dangerous.
That is worse. They just... their smoke's ruled now. The Thunder God's Wrath kicks in. I agree with you though. If he dies in the next team fight, I think the game's just over. Like, In Your Dream has been playing like an absolute champion this game, but it's just, he can't do it on his own. Look to move Meander. He's got the BKB up now, but again, you mentioned it, it's just all defensive. It's just no offensive. There's not enough damage coming out. Raven is taking the shrine. They are going to try and come in with the Moonlight Shadow. Zephyr, he'll need to get started with that stomp, but everyone will just back off immediately, and that'll be it. They'll protect the shrine for the moment. They're going to be a turnaround. Not yet. Although AU, look at that position he's in. You want to egg right there if the team fight starts. Now Arjit, he's alone right now. They want to make the dive. Moon Meander coming in. There's the rook. Is there... Lost their main carry though, and Zephyr with the next target, and he's gone.
Is under attack.
Who's a Rax right now?
Yeah, possibly even more. No buyback again on Ajit, no buyback on Elder Titan.
Green. Forward Ohio, he does not have the roar available.
Dire's bottom shrine is
Chain
under
Frost
attack.
being very annoying. Everyone's very low on mana on the side of LOTAC, so they've got to be very wary of this. Be very careful about how they initiate. They just want this really Raxus in. 1437. Oh, it gets him as well. Schwan finds that pick off. That was a dieback on him as well. So the Lich, no buyback available.
Has fallen.
They got the Rax and Raven. He'll just keep going. He realizes that 3 heroes on the other side don't have buyback, and they're just not going to come back up.
Bottom shrine has fallen.
Yeah, and that was the issue again with Ajit buying that Abyssal Blade. If they weren't in the position to make use of it, it might have been more practical to save for buyback. Because this, they might have been able to save at least their tier 3 in mid. Now that's opened up as well, and LOTAC has the opportunity to just wait for their cooldowns and then end up forcing that area out.
Dream again. Very long Chris Life coming out from AU. That level 20 talent kicking in. That's going to be so annoying. You're trying to push the creeps out a bit, and then this Phoenix just dives in, clears the whole wave, and just backs off again. Nothing you can do about it. Like, you've got to use like a champion to really get him in time. In Your Dream, it looks like he's going to be rushing an MKB now. Trying to deal with that Spectre again, but... I don't know, it just seems so impossible to deal with this draft right now. And now they lose their last shrine. Is the MKB going to make that much of a difference to you?
No. I don't feel so. I don't think it's going to really change the pace of the game that much.
Smoke on smoke.
Oh.
Tigers going to run into Ohio. Creeps. Now the Thunder God's wrapped. They notice the block in Ohio. He jumps in straight away. Thinking throughout all this, the egg does end up getting off the Sunray as well. Raven, he gets healed up to full HP. Arjun left alone. Ohio with the... But there was no shrine to TP to, and that's it. They called GG. They've had enough of this game, and honestly, John, I can't blame them. Eyeing his life away. That probably won't.
I mean, Tigers had a really good early start. They dictated the game at the laning phase. They gave away
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. Sunshine and rainbows. It will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. You're better than that.
started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin, but it's hard because I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling.
Radiant team pick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 of this best of 3 series
Dire
between
team
Top
pick.
and LOTAC. It is, of course, MLP Dota, joined by John X5. John, have you noticed any static in the microphone?
I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, but I didn't notice it on the stream. I did mention we met. We talked about this yesterday, didn't we? In our downtime.
Oh.
10 seconds remaining.
Yes. That was only between you and me.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Why is it on the stream as well? I didn't quite notice, Mike.
Dire team
Said
pick.
there was. I haven't seen anyone else really say anything, but somebody did. Unfortunately, I don't have much time to test because the game literally just started. Alright, well look, let's go into the draft. I'll have a look while we're looking to see if there's anything going on in the background that I could change up. Tigers though, John. Earthshaker the pickup, LOTAC go for the silencer.
Yeah, good counter to the
5
Earthshaker.
seconds remaining.
As long as you get the jump first, you can always make sure that the Echo Slam does not come out. And, that's always pretty strong. We've seen silencers do the past few days, really. We've seen it pop out every now and again. And despite having a rough early game,
Watching him the other day playing a Necrophos game, and he was struggling a bit. I imagine with the Earthshaker Pugna, he's not going to have the greatest time in the world either. Then again, like I say, he was struggling in that last game we won, and then turns it around with his team.
5
Kinda
seconds
like-
remaining.
He may struggle a bit, but ultimately with the Necro, it's just like get the Reaper Scythe off on who you need to get it off on, and you'll be. It's fine.
yeah, definitely so.
Radiant team
There is a
back.
bit much. There is a bit more push coming out from Tigers. The Pugna does push a bit better. Necrophos really doesn't contribute too much to that siege, to the high ground siege, to taking objectives. It just doesn't really do anything to buildings. So they're gonna need someone that can, maybe at least one hero that can really push down
Dire
buildings.
team back.
Because this Pugna will also, for a Tiger side, it can melt buildings pretty fast, even with just the Pugna is pretty potent.
LOTAC now with the 5th ban, and we'll get to see what the game plan is. Either team. I do agree with your sentiment though. LOTAC certainly need a hero that can siege well.
10 seconds remaining.
Tigers, they already have it.
5 seconds remaining.
I do like the Nyx ban out. Yeah. I do like the Nyx ban out from Tigers. It's a fairly good hero against the Pugna. Pugna does have a very high int gain. Very easy to stun him with your Spite Carapace. And, you can always catch him out with Vendetta as well. Pugna doesn't really do too much against the Nyx, so nice ban out for Tigers, really just protecting their Pugna pick, making sure their counter pick isn't counter picked by LOTAC.
Funny thing, IO has been banned as well. So, if they wanted to, they could run that, well, I mean, I doubt they will because they've already got the Earthshaker Pugna, but they could have run that IO Pugna.
And, it's pretty scary. Just the amount of sustain you can pump out to your core, whoever IO's teeter to, or if you're meming, if IO teeters to Pugna and you life drain IO while he's overcharged, he gets a lot of attack speed and you really don't lose HP. Neither of you lose HP from IO can push fast. That's if you run a core IO, which is very, very, very rare, Mike.
Yeah,
10 seconds
but it is something
remaining.
special when it finally comes out. Don't let your
Yeah.
don't let
5
the memes
seconds remaining. Radiant team
follow the memes. Tusk coming out from LOTAC, so they do have a bit of lockdown. I personally love the Tusk. Obviously we know, John, it has been nerfed a lot, but it's similar to the Earthshaker. You can nerf him as much as you want. The problem really is with the hero is they can change the terrain of the map temporarily.
10 seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
it definitely works out that way. I think the reason why you definitely
5
see
seconds
Earthshaker much more
remaining.
than Tusk is, you know, as a map-changing spell, Earthshaker's just that much better. In team fights as well, Earthshaker's that much better because of Echo Slam. Tusk, he's been in and out. Really, we saw a lot of him. Sometimes we see him pop back in, but only by a few teams. It's, you know, it's always there in the background, but definitely not in the spotlight like Earthshaker is. I think the potency of shards, its emphasis is really on that early period of time. The shards are always good, but
Hard to tell what kind of route they're going to be taking this game. See what their first call up will be on this Radiant end.
you know, the Tusk into Earthshaker as well, it's kind of iffy. Like, you can make some big plays by saving someone. At the same time, Echo Slam is near instant cast, so your timing has to be, you have to preempt the slam coming out, and you have to be careful if you snowball in, because you don't want to drag 5 people into Earthshaker in a snowball and then end up getting Echo Slammed. We've seen what happens when you group up in an
Dire
Echo Slam,
team
Mike.
pick.
You're telling me you have to play like FY.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's pretty hard. That level of Tusk is pretty ridiculous, but I'm sure the side of LOTAC will pull it off. We do see Tigers, however, a core Prophet, I believe. Unless in fact, it could be a support Nexus Prophet, a core Pugna. This Prophet.
It's been a while since I've seen the Nature's Prophet pick up in C, but I do believe Tigers have been running it every now and again. I want to say that's gonna be a support. It's gonna be Earthshaker and NPN support. But that's a bit greedy. It just doesn't feel right. Because the Earthshaker definitely wants farm,
10 seconds
but Nature's
remaining.
Prophet will also be soaking up a lot of farm himself. I don't think that balances
5
right.
seconds remaining.
Bring up a quick concern for the side of LOTAC, John. Broodmother's still available, Tigers. So, and I don't see any wave clear for the Spiderling, so that could be pretty painful for LOTAC if it's up. I've also got that. I mean, I wouldn't say you want to go Husker, but it's available if they that route, but that would probably be not. But the Broodmother seems like it'd be alright in this situation.
Yeah, it would look okay here. I mean, they have the Earthshaker for themselves, they have the
Dire
Nature's Prophet as
team
well,
back.
and the Pugnant, so they can apply a lot of map pressure. You know, just pushing, taking down towers really fast. Tigers does pick up a Morphling as well, which, you know, it's really potent here. We've seen this here do a lot of work in the Southeast Asian qualifiers. Up against a Terrorblade, it should be happy, I think. You could probably steal a
10
Metamorphosis
seconds
by
remaining.
morphing into Terrorblade, casting meta, and shifting back to
5
yourself. You
seconds
keep the
remaining.
buff, so I guess you might be able to buff as well.
That's gonna hurt if that's the case. I personally haven't seen the Morphling vs Terrorblade matchup too much, so this final ban out now. By the way, LOTAC, shout out to them for banning out
10
Tinker.
seconds remaining.
Nobody wants to see Tinker. Probably should.
Radiant team pick. Dire team
The Husker
pick.
is the final ban, and
Admiral
Tigers pick up the Kunkka.
Oh boy. Yeah. This is You know, it's going to be hard to kill again because that boat buff is immense and you have the Pugna for healing. I think the main thing here is that their split push is going to be really strong. Kunkka can split push as well if he has his own boots of travels. Just X mark himself, go into a lane, shove it out, and go back home. Relatively safe until, of course, LOTAC buys Yules, and then it's not quite safe. But there's a certain period of time where you can just split push safely as Kunkka. Nature's Prophet split pushes quite well, of course, and the Pugna can shove out lanes quite nicely. So the push potential from Tigers is really good. The durability is there, given by Kunkka. The team fight's there from Earthshaker. Pugna's there with the Nether Ward to really break off any big initiation. And they have really good scaling with Morphling, so I do like Tigers draft this time. It does look much better than game 1, but LOTAC goes with the Ohio Batrider.
Rough. I mean, I don't want to say weird, but it's just... it feels weird. Like, there's a lot of heroes that aren't necessarily amazing. I don't know. How do you feel about this draft from the Dire side?
It's definitely odd. It's definitely odd, but we did... you know, game 1, their draft was also odd, Mike, and they made it work really well. So I wouldn't doubt LOTAC too hard now. Maybe this is something they've practiced in scrims, something they keep pocketed up. I can see it snowballing off in the early game. Definitely stronger in that early game area. At least not much of in a while.
Oh, we've got an interesting game.
I just wanted to point out, Mike, it's a 1437 Nature's Prophet.
Okay, so support Nature's Prophet.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that. Again, because you have Zephyr on that Earthshaker, he's going to have to be making plays as a pause 4, but Nature's Prophet is really not a selfless support.
That is a good point. Like, it's a greedy lineup. Like, there's no doubting that. Everyone on the team certainly wants quite a bit of farm and level before they really start going. Mind you, later on in the game, yeah, they're going to be a problem. There's doubting that. But see if Tigers can pull this off and push game 3. Otherwise, of course, LOTAC, they definitely want to be able to try and take this 2-0. The less games you have to play in the lower bracket, the better. Obviously, they will have more games per day, I believe. So, want to rest up and see what the other teams are up to.
I like what I see.
I haven't seen much of in your dream. I mean, like, Belina is one of his special. Kunkka, I believe we've seen it a couple times. I believe he's pretty darn good at it, but I'm not sure. Do you think he's going to have a bigger influence than what he did in game 1?
I think the Kunkka does have the potential to be that active as well. Once you hit level 6, you should have enough in your kit to burst someone down, for the most part, as long as you have a support to help you out with setting up. If you can't catch them out with, if you don't prioritize X, or you go max Tidebringer first, you're gonna need a little help, but once you get that help, it's pretty much a good kill. I can definitely see in your dream being active early on with this hero, but it's not as bursty as Lina. Definitely not as bursty.
The battle begins.
Not gonna fight over this bounty. Let it go. Top lane, they had a bit of an engagement, but side of the Radiant actually managed to get it. And again, it does look like they're gonna start with 3 bounty runes on the side of Tiger. They do end up getting that great start again on the Radiant end. It's just a matter of whether they can transition that into the game now. I mean,
yeah. Again,
say that anyway.
Yeah, it's the same thing in game 1. I mean, as you mentioned, they grabbed 3 bounties. They kind of did okay in the early game, but then just kind of dropped off in the late. So, really have to watch out. Keep that tempo going.
One is actually the one playing Necro. I assumed it would have been Ohio earlier on in the draft, but this is a mid Necro up against certainly I feel like the right choice, I would argue, because you see a lot of these lane matchups, the Kunkka ends up dominating whoever he's up against, thanks to that Tidebringer, but Necro is seemingly one of those heroes that doesn't really care.
Yeah, definitely so. As long as Necrophos is not being zoned out of last hits, he can definitely sustain his lane. And, you know, he just needs a few levels to really go a bit wild with regen.
Forces that in to grab that early salve. See how in your
Not while I'm around.
top lane, Raven, trying to get some farm up himself, but he being annoyed a bit. Obviously, there is Zephyr there with the Fisher trying to block him off from the creep wave. Yamate will be there on the silencer though. That arcane curse spam should quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely so. I think the one issue with this lane up top is that Raven, you know, Terrorblade, he can take right clicks all day.
Has been killed.
Ooh.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Very nice courier snipe. There was no items on there, mind you, but that golden flux is very nice.
Warriors of the wood.
They're not going to have a courier for the next 2 minutes. It's going to be hard to contest this mid lane now. Have that regen coming in. They will try to punish 1437 at the bot lane, and it looks like he will just end up dropping here. Ohio managing to get away from there safely. So
is pretty good from Courier. First Blood is not team-wide as well, so I think overall the Courier is higher value. One of the few mids that doesn't really care for for Courier access, because it's very self-sufficient.
I have to agree. I mean, Vaughn doesn't, yeah, he's not going to be bothered by this at all. He managed to get the tangos out anyway before it died, so got that the tangos available if he requires them. Probably on. Yamate falling quite low at the top lane. Back off the safety. While bot lane, Ohio.
In your dream is really low, forced to use a salve again.
Dire are scanning.
Gold going towards that read frame. Haymaker forced behind. Buy up his regen, and he will need to buy more. Swan is not going to allow him to just farm here freely. He's going to continue to find this pressure, and Yamate again will die to the Dire, but you know, he does this on purpose, basically, just to be able to respawn very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's the smarter play. It does cost you a bit in giving gold away, but you don't sacrifice your respawn time, because dying to neutrals is just really costly now in terms of time wasted.
What out AU? There to help out AU if he does initiate. One, not at that level 6 mark yet, so rotation was slightly early. Probably, I was gonna say back off, but it looks like he's around for a bit. Ohio, meanwhile, bot lane. He's having a good old time. Doesn't really seem like he needs the help of the task. Might go 1437 soon. AU is Firefly committed as well. Nice. That strike, damage. Ohio got that bounty room. That's really all he wanted. And now they might turn around for 1437.
Warriors of the wood.
AU, he does have the snowball, and he has a regeneration, so he can afford to take this kind of harassment.
That is a lot of bottles in one lane.
Yeah.
Ohio's a bottle, Tusk has a bottle. I mean, how do you keep them top up?
They can. Ohio, he can creep wave over. So it's making Arjun's life a hell of a lot harder. Although AU might end up dropping. They run back because they assume the snowball's on them, but it's not. AU though, he just stood still for a bit. So he somehow manages to get out of there safely anyway.
Oh, 1437.
Problem is, Ohio is there with that another creep skip. AU, I don't know how he just walked out of it. Like, really, how does he actually manage to just get out of there safe?
You know, I'm actually not sure. I think it was odd because he hesitated to walk a bit, and I thought that might be enough to get one right click off, but then he also had like 2 charges left in his bottle. Top lane though.
Yeah. Gonna have to go. They're gonna be fine. Raven will also be fine. Now AU is here as well. The snowball will be there on the Earthshaker. Will it actually connect though or not? But the shards will. Fisher is there, but he blocks himself into the actual shards. He will try to TP out, and he will do so successfully. AU already commits that snowball, so there's no further stun left. Meanwhile, Ohio ends up dropping at the bot lane, and we see In Your Dream making his first rotation. Did commit the boat for that, but it's well worth it. And Ohio slow down that blink dagger timing quite a lot.
Yeah. And you know, this is the tendency that In Your Dream has. When he hits level 6, he doesn't ask for a support rotation to mid. He himself rotates to the side lanes, which is, you know, this is something you came to expect from your mid laner way before. Maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago in pubs. That's what the mid laners did. And now they usually have the support rotate in, but In Your Dream still keeps doing that himself, getting plays done by himself.
Top lane, a bit of a mistake from AU. He missed the shards on Moon Meander, and now he might lose his own life because of it. Trying to make a run for it. Zephyr is there with the enchant totem hit, and the Fisher as well. Therefore, will pick that one up for himself. Of course, any kill for Zephyr right now gonna help a lot because he's trying to farm a blink dagger of his own. Meanwhile, bot lane, Ajit actually chasing the Batrider into the Batrider form, and Ajit will find the kill. Ohio with the double dodge. It was pretty hilarious. Sticky Napalm and Firefly against the Batrider. Meanwhile,
Yeah, that's
top
balanced.
lane, yeah, top lane, Raven getting very, very low. He does have the Sunder snowball in. They want to Sunder Moon Meander immediately, and they will do so. Raven, he's still in massive trouble, but AEU should be able to get the kill, and back Raven does now. He wants to get out, but the Fisher barely connects. Zephyr, he has to get out of here safely now as well. Yamate is there with the Arcane Curse, but now he's in trouble. He does want through it. That'll be... I think it works out a bit better for Tigers anyway, though. You definitely want the Terrorblade over the Pugna.
Yeah, it definitely works out a bit better for Tigers here. Slowing down this Terrorblade's farm is really pertinent. You don't want him to get too much HP early on. Don't want to let him buy those kinds of items early, so really pertinent there.
Top lane, AU trying to dodge a gank.
Dire's top tower
They're
is under
fucking
attack.
Chase. It's been very frustrating. AU looks like he will end up dropping, and they get the T1 as well. Ohio, meanwhile, drops bot lane, and AU still alive, but he will finally end up dying. And Ohio again dies second time to Into Your Dream and the Morphin. You know, you talked about how In Your Dream makes those rotations instead of waiting for support. I like that old school. I personally like it. It brings back some good memories.
Radiant's middle tower is
top
under
lane.
attack. Dire's top tower
Napalm's
is
coming up
under
from
attack.
Ohio. Level 6, so he hasn't even lasso yet. Again, that blink dagger timing, it's gonna hurt a bit for him because, well, he's died twice in the last minute or two.
Yeah, it definitely hurts your timing like that, and doesn't even really have a jungle to go back to because his Terrorblade is clearing that out himself as well.
One, they're trying to go after Ajit, but AU is in trouble. Snowball is there. The Reapers is available, but Ajit is quite hard to kill. His strength more throughout all this now. Stun him up. Good. Seven, 2. Tigers with a very nice lead early on. And again, you look at that net worth lead, they've got it once again in game 2. That 5k net worth lead very early on. It's problematic, especially because LOTAC, they don't necessarily have the later game draft this time around. So they can't just try and be defensive and drag out the game again. Not going to work this time.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, the Terrorblade is a pretty good carry as well. it's not the biggest late game carry though. It does carry its own issues as well. And here we are, Mike. Pauses. Oh, that was quick. Yeah, really unfortunate, Mike. Take a look at this Morphling, Mike. Right now it's a Tusk. And I mean, how many escape tools can a Morphling have? 4. Right now he has around 3. Shards are great, snowballs there, and waveforms there. And that's really balanced, Mike.
Mid lane, they are going to be able to find the Necro, so one getting ganked up, and they might just push in this mid lane with the Pugna. Greens are there from the native profit as well. No backdoor protection for the big ones, and they'll get started immediately. Yamate is there with AU, but they can't defend this on their own. They need at least 1 core to help them out here. And it looks like they aren't covering. Now Yamate going to be in trouble. Snowball does not get there in time, but Yamate will be alright. Now the Fisher as well.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Start dropping, and a quick smoke coming out straight away. Tigers, look who they're going to run into. 4 Ohio is there trying to farm up. Meanwhile, 1437 apparently going down. Raven on that Terror Blade. Ohio, I wonder if he realizes how much trouble he's in right now. Well, now he definitely does, because he's been X'd up by Your Dream. Gets stunned up with a Torrent, and Moon Meander will just suck him dry. Killing spree for the Pugna. And I'd hate to say it for the 3rd time, but that Blink Dagger delayed each.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good timing for this blink. I mean, Ohio just has no space to farm right now. Again, Raven is the priority. They're giving him most of the safe jungle to farm up. Ohio has to take these risky moves in the larger jungle where they've already lost their tier 1, so they don't really have too much control there. And I mean, that's the way it has to go. The Terror Blade definitely takes priority.
Zephyr, pulled out, Raven. They'll find himself a nice pick up. In fact, no, they'll use the Reapers to get that one. One will pick that one up for himself. Note that the Rod of Atos is the item choice of the line, it seems. Be able to deal with that more, I'd assume. Even the Earthshaker later on will be quite useful. In fact, top lane Ohio managed to get Moon Meander. They looks like they committed that lasso this time around.
Bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is
the pace of this game is starting to remind me of Game 1, Mike. You kind of saw the same thing happen. Tigers won the early game, but if they give these kind of senseless kills away again, I mean, Ohio's just, what, 500 gold away from Blink? And once he has that up, I think he's happy.
All you need. Start to escalate once that Blink is available. Ajit diving quite deep for Yamate. He does not get him. The Warrior Punch is there. Shards will end up connecting. A nice ball from Ajit. Now can he get out though? Chuan will get snowballed on. The boat comes in as well. It will connect on Chuan. Ajit still fighting around in that morph form. And Chuan is starting to fall very, very low, although he does get himself up. But here comes Moon Meander on that Pugna. And Chuan somehow alive still through all of this, but he is going to end up dropping eventually. And now the tier 2 bot tower will be the target. And it will be a very easy target for after Tigers to take down.
Yeah, it doesn't take them too long to push down towers now. Again, with that Pugna, with Nature's Prophet, it's pretty fast push coming out. And that does kind of make up for the fact that they did lose a couple kills. They've gotten the entirety of the bot lane now. They have a nice ward out as well, although that was spotted out by Ohio. Good game sense.
Wow. 12-5 now. 6k net worth lead remains. It does look like Ajit is able to get that Lincoln Spear very, very soon. So the Bat Rider not going to be able to lasso him up that easily. The Reaper Scythe as well going to be a bit of a pain. Like they are looking AU trying to find somebody. We're gonna scout this out. He is in that issue right now, and Ohio will manage to get the lasso. They want to go straight on to Moon Meander. Meanwhile, in the backlines, they do go after the Earthshaker, and Zephyr is in massive, massive trouble. It looks like he would try and fish it through this, but he does end up dropping. They go for even more. Nobody's really left, so 2 go down for nothing. LOTAC going to be very happy about that.
Yeah, and you know, I can't help but compare this again to game 1, Mike. We saw the same thing happening. They were behind. They get one key initiation item and one hero, which is Ohio's Blink this time, and then gonna play around global. That when global silence is off, they can't fight.
Well, nice. 1437 ends up dropping, but Ohio gives his own life away for it. It's hard to know whether these skills are worth it. I mean, that's a position 5 Nature's Prophet down for the sake of your 3 Bat Rider. It certainly doesn't seem very worthwhile for Ohio to take that kill.
Yeah, he still gained gold in the end, but he gave a bit more to Moon plus Mr. In Your Dream, so they get a little bit more out of that.
Find AU as well on that pass. Does have a snowball and he actually goes up the edge, but no! It drops him back down.
He was X-marked anyway.
Yeah.
No way he was gonna get out of that one.
It's a nice play though. Shard the Ancient to get the vision, but still, like you said, it was inevitable that he was going to end up dropping.
Yeah. Kind of unfortunate though that the snowball actually didn't drag him up as well. Just by the cliff.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, look at that. Meander is just standing at the back, dropping down the Nether Blast, and that tower just melts.
Dire's top tower.
Why, right? Like, why risk your teaming?
Yeah, that's really the power of Pugna. Oh, no.
Oh, well, the Lapper comes in to help out, so Swan available for the moment. Nice charge! Blocks everyone in the boats.
Oh, no.
Trying to help out. 1437. He will end up dropping now. In your ring, going after AU. Ohio, there's the global silence. AU should end up dropping, and he will, and it looks like LOTAC. They can't follow up on the silence. Now Chuan just trying to back off the safety. The life drain is there. The X was there as well. Bishop barely connects, and Chuan, he will end up dropping to Arjit. It looked so bad for Tigers once that shards came out into the global silence, John, but they just could not finish them off. And you know what? I just realized Raven wasn't involved in that team fight at all. He's still just trying to farm the Manta.
I think that's fine. I think you don't want to risk your Terrorblade being in that fight because he has such little HP and there's so much magic damage coming out from Tigers that it's a big risk dragging out your Terrorblade there. If you can take a fight 4v5, take it. Because you want your Terrorblade to grow bigger for it a bit more. I think the... Oh.
Ohio. My goodness. Oh, they give it the echo.
Ohio.
Yeah. You can blink, sir, but you ran back in and you gave the opening. Zephyr says thank you very much.
You know, in that last fight by this ramp, Mike, this ramp by the tier 2, I think the key issue was that the shards was amazing. Ohio threw them out with a flame break.
Oh,
yes, they were inside, and then he pushed 2 of them out. They could have cleaned up.
They found AU as well in the mid lane, and he just Moon Meander with that life train just does so much damage with the Decrepify.
Pull roots and run.
Things are getting better and better for Tigers. Raven just trying to hide in some trees right now. They're going to spot him.
What?
Raven. He
runs
towards the shrine. The Fisher was there though, Zephyr. Can they burst him? The Manta is there. Ohio to save the day. The Metamorph still take up the Earthshaker. Now moving in, that actually gets him just barely. Trying to find the return, but here comes In Your Dream with the bow torrent. He actually screws up the X though. Pressed it way too early. Meanwhile, 1437 ended up dropping in the backlines again to Ohio.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Juan manages to walk out of there. Again, a small mistake within your dream.
Dire's middle tower
on that E button a bit too quick.
Yeah, I mean, he felt like he had to go fast. I think that's fair enough. Really unfortunate Raven had to die there. He had Sunder up. I almost feel like it would have been worthwhile to swap his HP with Chuan. I think Terrorblade definitely takes the priority right now. I think I would have actually not blamed him if he let Chuan die instead, because you want your Terrorblade to be keeping up.
Speaking of dying, Ohio ends up dying top lane. He was trying to push that creep wave out, but he's unsuccessful in doing so. The banner is top to be taken as well by the side of Tigers, and they will smoke up. Question is, who are they really going to find? does appear Chuan might be on the menu.
Radiant
ready.
are scattered.
Yamate is there. He places an observer ward. But I know Chuan is around there somewhere. Therefore, round for Yamate's team. Quite nobody. I'm probably not realizing how close to death he just was. Now they're going to focus on the tier 3 tower. Why the hell not?
Yeah, and you know, again, without Pugna, it's a relatively safe push.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Already
Yeah,
down
look
to
at
half HP. Now the X torrent again. It's missed though. Yamate walks out of it. Why is he Xing so quickly? Like, is he afraid of the global silence?
I think that might be it.
Radiant's
That
bottom
constant
tower
fear
is
puts him on
under attack.
edge, which
But wouldn't it just be worth it to wait?
I suppose it would be, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the mindset. The only thing I can think of is, yeah, maybe global silence. Maybe he's worried about them blinking out or snowballing for the save, so he just tries to break that combination immediately
Dire are
and, you know,
scanning.
hope for the best.
The LOTAC guys are on the offensive now. Ohio already found somebody in that tree line, but they are
Radiant's
all across the
bottom
map.
tower is under attack.
So, side of Tigers, they might just go for a quick Roshan.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Bot will end up dropping, and Raven, he might just keep pushing the tier 3. If they realize the Roshan's being taken, it's just get into Metamorphosis and force them back. The Roshan, though, is going down fairly quickly. And they are not going to push the tier 3 bot, which indicates they have no
Radiant's
clue what's going on.
is under attack.
That Roshan is going to be given away for free. Side of Tigers. Really going to enjoy that, considering he's almost unkillable as it stands already. And now you've got to try and kill him twice.
Regeneration!
Better and better for this Radiant, and I like LOTAC. They're still in this game, but it's certainly not as great as last game. Around this time they were coming back, whereas now they're still falling quite behind, at the very least, on that Terrorblade.
Raven is still about 3k behind Ajit right now. Not the greatest discrepancy you want. I feel like the power spike for Raven here is that BKB. If he can get it in the next 5 to 8 minutes, you're going to be able to take a quite fair few fights, because a lot of the damage coming out right now from Tigers is magic outside of the Morphling, but most of it is magic. So once you have that BKB, they can't really control Terrorblade up, and Morphling will have to eat through a lot of armor to kill off Terrorblade.
Dire structures
Here
are
from LOTAC drop there by the shrine. Just waiting out. Then they smoke up.
Oh.
Has actually ended up going down thanks to Moon Meander, and they will loop around here. LOTAC, they understand they're going to take a fight sooner rather than later. In your dream, he breaks the smoke. He hasn't realized yet though. And have they yet? Zephyr, who's going to be the target? Oh, in your dream, what a blink out! And now Ajit, he'll get started on. Oh, this looks really bad for the side of Lo. And
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
immediately. And it was just, like, what can you do? They're going to push way too fast.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's just, you know, it's very different from game one, wasn't it? Like, I feel like they have to work on their draft a bit, because
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this.